Good evening. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Finance, Insurance, and Section 16's Land Committee. Before we begin, though, I'd like to turn it over to the President for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Crowdis. I just want to, I'd like to serve on this committee tonight as ex officio. I just wanted to make that official. Okay? Thank you.
Would also like to note members present tonight with myself as chairman, Mr. Lagarde as member, also present are, well, he was here, Dr. Trahan, Mr. Ford, President Wazan, Mr. Harding, and the superintendent and members of his staff. Item number 2, consideration of approval of an industrial tax exemption program ITEP request by Gulf Island LLC. The committee recommends that the board approve and accept the resolution as presented granting the request by Gulf Island LLC Industrial Tax Exemption Project number 202-303-87-ITE, and I believe that there's a Miss Catherine Gilbert.
Mr. Cohen-Gidry is here, sir, for her. Mr. Cohen-Gidry is here.
Oh, okay, Mr. Gidry.
For TITA.
From TITA, yes.
Yes, sir. And representatives from Gulf Island as well.
Do you want to move the recommendation first? Or we're going to?
Oh, yes, I apologize. Do I have a motion for the recommendation? Okay. Seconded by myself. Mr.
Good evening. Cohen Gidry, Executive Director of Terrebonne Economic Development. We'll come before you tonight to go over any questions or answer any questions that you guys might have on the ITEP presented before you on for Gulf Island. I cover all the numbers and what the gains and what the exemptions will be, and if you guys have any specific questions on what the program that they're putting forth to you guys for numbers of jobs added or anything like that, they're certainly here. So normally I think everybody looks at these and says, well, it's a loss because we're losing money that would be coming in. This is a new build, a new expansion, so it's nothing that would be on the roll. But the numbers are the exemption based on the $4,148,390 would have been over a 10-year period, $299,945 is a 80% exemption that is being provided to them. And I think it's important that we always highlight they are going to pay a 20% ad valorem tax based upon that figure, which over that time period would give you a $75,182 net gain. But on that $4 million expansion investment, they're going to pay a sales tax at $228,161.45, which the school board, as far as on the tax side, sales tax side, gets 2.89% of that. So what the exemption is over the 10-year period is $29,072, which some could view as a loss, but the net gain on that with a 20% ad valorem tax that they do pay and the sales tax is paid, this is a $35,385 net gain. So it is it's off balance, and it does do a wash, and it still adds some more monies to you guys' operating budget over that time.
All right, thank you, sir. Any questions from the public? Mr. Lagarde? None from myself. Any other board members? Mr. Ford?
I'm always pleased to see you, Cohen. Thanks for coming and
Absolutely. Good seeing
educating
you too, Mr.
us
Ford.
on the quantitative impact this may have on our district. As usual, I think in representing the constituency that put me in this position, I think it's important to note that I oppose this ITEP exemption as usual because I am representing the people that put me here. I do want to note that I think it's ironic that in the one night that you guys came for this finance committee where we only had 2 members present, we ad hoc'd a 3rd member, and this happened to be on the agenda. Maybe I'm just suspect. Maybe I'm pointing out the obvious. I hate to be Captain Obvious, but I'm sure this will go through committee and go to the full board, but I'm just going to stand firm on my belief that we should not be giving these tax exemptions. However, I did mention earlier, just by coincidence, that our welding programs and some of our other vocational programs are looking for supplies. So if you guys are willing to donate, we're always willing to accept any donations in kind that can help our programs and maybe strengthen the relationship we have already. So thank you for coming, Mr. Guidry. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And just for the record, the state pushes down the application. We've got a specific number of days in order to get this before the school board and the parish council and back to them. So it's, although it might be suspect, it's a pure coincidence. All right.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for your time. It's good seeing all you guys.
Appreciate it. Item number 3, matter bearing upon utilization of Employee Assistance Program information, Mr. Curtis.
In your, next to your desk, I know you have a lot of papers, but there's two papers stapled together. First one says Hidalgo Health Associations. The purpose of this is to inform you of the program that was started back a couple of years ago for employee assistance. But I think I'll need my glasses. The column you're going to see on the right is for last year, 23-24, and the column on your left will refer to this current year, 24-25, we just finished. We are paying less than $2,000 a month for this program. And of it, 84 employees sought assistance, 28 were family members for a total of 112. The referral source, you see one was formal, which means a principal went to an employee and said, call these people, you need to talk to somebody, because it was affecting their work. When that happens, what's discussed, this is still healthcare, so what's discussed and what they do is private. All we get notified is, yes, they went and they attended. Because the purpose of the employee assistance program is to help those who need it to, one, if they do need some kind of counseling, they get it within their 10 visits, which is what's prepaid for. That would prevent them from saying, going to a doctor, getting the counseling, and then being on our Medicare, not our Medicare, but our medical group plan. Also, for those who would go out and seek these 112 people, if they would go out and seek the counseling services through normal healthcare services, some wouldn't even go because they then say, well, I got this copay and I got this deductible I got to meet. So then the people who would need that help wouldn't even seek the help. And as you can see, if you go a little bit further down, the resources utilized, 99 of it was counseling, 3 were referred to self-help groups, 5 of them were seeking legal or financial help, and only 5 were referred to a PPO therapist where they needed ongoing, and it might not have been a therapist, it might have been a psychiatrist where they might have needed medication for depression or something like that. Then underneath the nature of problem, 14 of it was marital, 2 financial. If you go down, 18 were kids. In other words, they were having problems with their children. 12 were seeking help for depression. 1 was seeking help because they were undergoing medical problems. 5 grief, and on down it shows the 84. Now that only counts for the 84 employees. But as you can see from the report, more people are utilizing it this year. We have the gentleman from Hidalgo is going to come and talk to the principals and try to explain to them a little more about how to utilize the formal referral for teachers. Because you know, if you're a principal, you know your teachers, you know the people who work in your building, you know that what their attitude and their what they're like every morning, and if you see something declining, you can use this to try and get them the help they need long before you have to take them to some kind of administrative hearing because of their work. So I think, for the most part, it's a great program that's working well. The next page, last year, when we were looking at student accident insurance, we went out and looked at what it would be if we self-insured for this program. What you're looking at is what was paid out this half of the year for claims for students. That's the first 6 months of this calendar year. Now, if you count what we paid out, and it takes there's a little bit of a lag time here. From when the time the student gets hurt, the student goes to the doctor, gives the claim form to the doctor, the doctor signs off on it, it gets to Gulf South Risk, they have to process it. By the time, there's a little bit of a lag here. So next year when we see the numbers, there's gonna be a little bit of a carryover from this year. But still in all, with the $31,000 we paid out, plus the $30,000 we paid to Gulf South to administer the program over the past 12 months, that's about a little over $60,000, but the premium we were gonna pay last year was $182. So we saved over $60,000 by going to self-insured. So that's a little bit of a relief and some money in our pockets for that.
Good, good.
Yes, sir.
Couple of comments. One, on this Hidalgo Health, I think this is fantastic. You know, there's such a stigma of shame for people seeking counseling. And it sounds like this is set up where we're actually looking out for each other in the workforce. And I tell you, that just is so valuable because, you know, a lot of times people wait too long before they decide to do something, but as principals watch out for their teachers and the other administration watch out for their people, we can help to solve problems before they become real big problems. So that's fantastic that this is taking place. I think it's great. The only other comment on the student accidents is, I don't know that this necessarily includes football season, and I'm thinking there's more accidents
Yeah,
there than that.
there's more in
That's
there.
the
Like I said, there was a
January.
lag before we started getting
Yeah.
the numbers in.
Yeah,
But-
but still, that's a significant savings, even
Yeah,
with that.
and we get action reports over the summer. I can tell you exactly when the cheerleaders start reporting to school for practice because the action reports start coming in.
Yes. Very good, thank you.
Any other board members? All right, Mr. Curtis, I think you're part of number 4 as well. So item number 4, matter bearing upon utilization of student accident insurance. Mr. Curtis again.
That was it.
Oh, was it, we just did that? My apologies. Okay, thank you, Mr. Curtis. So item number 5, consideration of approval of student nurse professional liability insurance. The proposed recommendation go from Mr. Curtis, but the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the proposal from AMBA for student nurse professional liability insurance with limits of $1 million with a $3 million aggregate per any one student with an annual premium of approximately $333. Mr. Curtis, you have-
This insurance is basically for those young students who go to TCT and they actually put hands on patients in a nursing home. And this is just insurance in case, God forbid, something happens. Probably, I mean, they're taking blood pressures and things like that, so they're not doing anything that would be critical, but it is best and wise, and it's very inexpensive to cover them in case something does happen.
is this a new insurance or something?
No, sir, we've been doing
Been
this
carrying
for
this for a
years.
while? Okay. Are there any board member questions?
You didn't move this one either. Nobody moved it, and
Oh, my apologies
Yeah,
again.
that's
I'm
okay.
sorry about that. Mr. Lagarde, so moved by Mr. Lagarde, seconded by myself. My apologies.
it's okay.
Any board member questions? Mr. Ford, I think you had one.
I wanted to know, I think, if I remember correctly, it was $272 a student last year, something like that, so it's an increase.
It's actually about $8 or $9 a student. depending on what it is. Last year, we covered some students from like HL who were doing it's not the EMT one, it's like one right below that.
Yeah, the EMR.
But we decided not to cover them this year because they don't put hands on patients. It's mostly just classroom work for them. So we're not covering them, we're just covering the girls who, and it might be a young man in the group, I don't know, who are going through TCT, and they're allowed to go to a certain nursing home and, like I said, take basic, check heart, check blood pressure, things like that.
So my follow-up question is, it doesn't matter how many students we have, it's the same price per student, right?
Right.
Okay. Just wanted to make
So the more students we have enrolled, the higher, that's why we have approximate in case some kid comes into the thing or drops out before school starts.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, so moved. All righty, moving on to item number 6. Consideration of approval of bids for hunting and trapping leases on Section 16 lands. Ms. Ali Dugab, the committee recommends that the board approve and accept the following highest bids received, meeting all specifications for hunting and trapping leases on Section 16 lands beginning August 6, 2025 through June 30th, 2035. Allow the purchasing department to re-advertise those sections where no bid was received and/or those sections in which leases were surrendered, and further authorize the superintendent or board president to sign all necessary documents pertaining thereto. Do I have a motion? Okay, moved by Mr. Lagarde, seconded by myself. Ms. Dugas,
Any questions?
any questions?
These were the only 2 bids received, so it was,
Okay,
it was
great.
very simple.
Any other public comments? Mr. Lagarde, neither from myself, any board members, Dr. Kluche?
Those other ones that you're going to put out for bid, have they been leased last year, or are they just?
They haven't,
They
and
haven't.
I might wait until the spring because the ones remaining haven't been leased in a while.
Okay, all right.
Because we'll have some new ones coming up in the spring.
Mr. Ford, I
I
think.
think Mr. Babin had a presentation set up to show us those, if we needed to see them. Yeah, if we wanted to see them.
location of these sections, or?
Sure. You went to the work, we'll see it.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
put in all
Not
that
much
hard
work.
work, and the alleyway, and turn your computer off.
Ally just made it a little more complicated.
didn't know there was a presentation.
All right,
He was proud of the work he put in.
all right. All right, so I gotta get the screens to wake back up.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I'll take Section 16 lands for 200, Chuck.
All right. All right, so,
Alex, sorry.
yeah,
I got my game show host mixed up.
so we're looking at
It's not the dating game.
22 south. So here's Terrebonne Parish. See Homa right here, due south of Homa, if I can find it again. Around Lake Pelto. Kind of jumps around. See 2217E. That's the one we're looking at. That's correct. And I'll zoom in and you'll see the section 16.
So
Right.
those lines are skewed because it's actually 1 by 1 mile squares, but
No, if you look at some of these, they're crazy looking.
Yeah.
I mean, look at some of these others. And it has to do with where the waterways are. Some of them are just water bottoms. Now, the section 16s were drawn out. All of these public land were drawn. This is the public lands survey map.
yeah.
It's a national map. And all of them are drawn out. Some of them are kind of peculiar. Some of these are water bottoms now, but we still own that area, even though the land got washed away. So, let me zoom in. You'll see by a Sally,
Just to the north of there.
there's section 16 right there. So you'll follow. It's due south, almost in Lake Pelto, right south of Homer. All right.
Prime real estate, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a good place. They go down by a Sally, they're in by Blank. Lake Pelto's right there. They can go offshore. The other one was 20 south, if y'all remember. Somewhere around Alexandria is one north, one south, one east, one west. So we're all east. You go to 20 south. Range 15. Now this one's kind of crazy because this public lands map that's national doesn't show 16. You see where 13 is?
Yeah.
Across that is 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So right in the middle here is our section 16. So what I did was went to another Terrebonne Parish Assessor's map, and of course that went away. Oh, here it is. The map viewer's up. So what I can do is zoom in on it. Now, it doesn't label everything particularly, but you can see that same place in the map. So you see that's 2015, section 16, right here. That's Lake Mechant.
Yeah.
And it's up in that corner. In fact, I have another drawing right here I can show you. That's from the map outside on the wall that used to hang on the right side of the wall. Now, this is from 1954, so the water and land is not necessarily the same, but that's a drawing off of that map. And you see it's the northeast corner of Lake Mechant. So.
Thanks, Chris, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Chris. Any other board members? Any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Allen. Item number 7, consideration of adoption of the budget adoption resolution, providing for adoption of the following original operating budgets for fiscal year 2025-2026 for the mentioned sales taxes, the child nutrition program, and special revenue funds. The committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the budget adoption resolution, which is attached, which provides for adopting the original operating budgets for the general operating fund, 1 cent sales tax fund, half-cent sales tax fund, 3/4-cent sales tax fund, child nutrition program fund, and various special revenue funds for the 2025-26 fiscal year, with the following changes and additions. Bullet number 1, reclass purchasing agent to the 210-day administrative salary scale for 240 days. Reclass executive secretary to executive assistant to the superintendent, and reclass to 240-day professional salary scale, non-instructional professional support. Reclass human resources position, control specialist, to the administrative assistant chief, academic, assistant maintenance office coordinator salary scale. Reclass 1 secretary 2 in human resources department to human resources clerk. Reclass licensed plumber 1 and 2 to the general leaderman 1 and 2 salary scale. Add a buyer to the purchasing department. Adjust the salary scales for all support employees as follows. All full-time 240 days support employees' salary scales increased by $3,000 per year, excluding general leaderman, licensed plumber 1 and 2, building maintenance manager, maintenance assistant, accounting assistant, and employee benefits coordinator. all full-time, less than 240-day support employees' salary schedules increased by an annualized amount based on the 240-day scales, excluding bus drivers and transportation drivers, and further adopt all related salary schedules for the 2025-2026 fiscal year. Do I have a motion? So moved by President Guazan, seconded by myself. Mr. Superintendent, do you have any words on this? Anything?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and...
Okay, sure. Okay, so I think first and foremost, the main purpose of this motion is to approve the budget. So we've had budget meetings with board members, we've had a public hearing with no public attend. And what's being presented tonight is, the main thing is the budget. So I want to thank Finance for all they've done to put this together. Michelle and Becky and staff, lots of work goes into the budget, as you saw, lot of work. I think after looking and reviewing and just reflecting and absorbing the balances we have, it kind of led to thinking that we can do more for our support people, the majority of them. That's why this came after as an addition and not initially. Just felt after just really taking it in, we could do this. So hence all of these additions, okay? Also, part of that budget that we talked about in our meeting, which is in the budget booklet as a point of interest, is uniforms for our band students. And what you see here are the 3 samples for the 3 of our 4 high schools. Now, Eleanor's band uniform got replenished from the storm, so they have new uniforms. So I want to thank Alicia for a lot of work she did in meeting with band teachers and everybody at the school level to get what you see here, these beautiful uniforms that are going to be fresh and updated and, you know, just get our kids looking really sharp. Any comments, Alicia, on the uniforms? I mean,
they're personalized. Each band director was able to work with Stanberry, and they really personalized them for what they wanted. It's a labor of love for each school, and it really is tailored to their needs, colors, wants. You can see on South Terrebonne, it's got that scale look for it, so they really did a great job.
yeah, they're beautiful. So thank you again for helping with that whole project. And that is part of the budget as was presented. So what I'd like to do is talk through the changes and additions bullet by bullet. Okay, I'm just get into just some basics for each one. So the first bullet, and I have for you this sheet here. This sheet kind of gets into some detail of each one of the bullets, starting with bullet 1, the purchasing agent. So what the ask is here is to increase the current scale, which is scale 30, a 1.38 index, to scale 32, which is a 1.47 index. Okay? That is an increase of about, it's an about symbol, $5,400. Rationale. Okay. As you saw tonight, we have 4 high-quality architects. You got Merlin that's building a school, Andy's building a school, Craig's building a school, and you saw Shelley tonight building South Terrebonne Middle School currently in process. They do a lot of project management work for us, and historically they've always done it when we have new builds. I think after the storm, we needed external project managers. We had so many moving parts, things going all over, temporary roofs to flooring, lots of things that we went through. You saw it all happen. We needed some support. We got beyond that. We have 1 repair job left, that's South Terrebonne High School. And we have a project manager, an external project manager who comes report every month. He's there regularly. After we finish South Terrebonne High School, all we have left are 4 schools to be built and ground up. That's a lot of work, but it's different work than a repair jobs happening at just about every school in this district. I think, and I feel confident, not only I think, I'm confident, we can handle the project management from the purchasing agent giving her or assuming more duties on top of what she's doing in the purchasing agent as department. She can do it. She's proven that she can do it. She's done a tremendous amount of work already in that area. She gives us quality reports. She keeps everybody informed. Myself, finance, staff, Sammy, John, all of us. And has done a tremendous job. Architects reach out to her primarily already. She gets stuff done. With all that said, and I could go on and on about what she'd be involved with, she doesn't know a whole lot about the in and outs of building a building. That's what architects do. That's what they're going to communicate. They're going to communicate it to her. She's going to communicate it to us. And we're going to communicate it together. So we know what's happening at all phases of those 4 builds. And that's design phase, bid and contract phase, which is crucial. And I put a few things down. Make sure contractors submit 10-day post-bid documents. Our project managers didn't do that, and we got in the bind. We got in the big bind, if y'all remember correctly. She's going to do that. If it's her job to do, she will do that. Help architects, engineers evaluate all bids for responsiveness. That's what she does. That's project management. She's going to get that phase done well. Construction phase, again, she's not a construction engineer, but she can answer architect, engineer, contractor questions. And if needed, she's going to ask Sammy, she's going to ask finance, or anybody else that can answer the question for the architect. It's a centralized person in-house that everything's going to come to and come through. It makes sense. And we're not asking for a major increase, but she's got more duties, hence the increase in salary. That's bullet number 1.
I have a question on
Yes,
that.
sir.
I think that's fantastic. I like your idea. My concern is this looks like a lot to load on her.
Yes, sir.
On top of what she's already doing.
Yes, sir.
And is that too much for one person?
Yes,
Should
it
she
is.
have an assistant with that?
Yes, sir.
So that's my concern.
Yes, sir. So if you look, skip over to bullet 6, which is on the next page. Bullet 6. I'll get to that one right now.
Hold on, I got a question on that, just that too, though, before we skip on. You know, you're addressing this, but we addressed this last year. Now we're back to when we first talked about getting project managers and everything, and when we got rid of a project manager, and we talked about all this work going on somewhere, you said it wasn't a problem. Now it's a problem?
What's the problem? I'm not following. What's the problem?
All of this work the person has to do, when we got rid of a project manager, we had 2 project managers, 2 companies. But before we even hired project managers, we talked about an in-house person and all this, and we didn't need it. Remember, you said, oh, no, we don't need this. We got everybody working hard. Now, we're gonna add more responsibility on a person when the project's almost done. When we had a lot of projects, you say we didn't need someone. Now we add a person, and we got rid of a project manager, and like you say, she's not a professional. So I would like to go out there and get a professional project manager.
Okay, that's
You know,
that's
let's
good.
go back
That's your
out there.
opinion.
Like we had 2, we got rid of 1, and we made it 1. Now you're coming back and say we need 2 more people. Why we just don't let the people do it, not the professionals? Because like we say, she's not an engineer, we're not an engineer. And if they are doing something dishonest, she wouldn't know, like we felt the last person apparently did something dishonest, and he didn't know until it got caught. So we don't know if they're doing something dishonest. So we should have a professional to do it. Because didn't the last person do something dishonest, and you just mentioned, it didn't get caught, and now she can catch it, and if we missed it, and she's not an architect or engineer, she missed it, it could still be something
was in mind just to finish this, because we got rid of one, we said we didn't need it last year this time, when all this was brought up. Now we need two, we need two more people to do it. First, we didn't need it, we was counting it.
I never say we need two people, so that's not
You're
accurate.
paying her more, a lot going
A
on.
little bit.
Then we're gonna put a buyer, a person and a half, it's a lot. When you just clearly stated, she's not an architect. And you put more, like Dr. Bud said, on top of her duties, you put more work on top of her duties. So I think it'll be easier, let's look at, for those projects, a professional architect. That's the most sensible thing, than to give her more extra duties, and then Samuel more extra duties. When we didn't need this, it's like going backwards. I don't know if these guys here was on the board when we crossed that, but we was going backwards when we didn't need that. We asked for that at the beginning of hiring somebody in-house to represent us. We like, oh no, we're gonna get professionals. And now, we got professionals, then we got rid of one company, and we got one, just give it to that company here, because they about to leave, they finish it. Just let them finish it, they are professionals. That's be the more easy and the professional thing to do. They bring in two other people, just let them do it, or put it out for bid with the professionals.
Thank you, Mr. Brown, appreciate that. Mr. Superintendent, I think you were gonna make a point about bullet number 6,
Yeah.
in regards to.
So yes, sir. Skipping over to bullet 6, that is add a buyer to the purchasing department. So a buyer is obviously a new position, but one that's been around for a long time in the purchasing department. Matter of fact, Ally was the buyer prior to the current position she's in, and was able to assume a lot of the buyer role and the purchasing agent role. These added duties would benefit by having a buyer assume a lot of the pieces of purchasing agent duties right now. She'd oversee that as well, the report to the purchasing agent. So that's bullet 1 and 6. And I'm gonna just reiterate and say it again. She can do it, without a doubt. Clear, concise, thorough. And in my opinion, right, that's the best option for this district moving forward. Whoever sits in this chair right here can benefit from her doing what she does best. So that's my recommendation, and I'm totally confident that that's the right decision. So I'll move on to the next bullet.
Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Superintendent, Dr. Trahan, you have a question about bullet, this discussion.
From my experience with our staff here, and we have an awesome, effective staff in finance and purchasing. We, whether or not we pass this, I know they'll still do the work. Whether they or not they get more money, they're still gonna do the work. They're gonna make sure these buildings get built. They're gonna make sure everything is done and nothing stops and it's gonna go forward. And I just had to say that, because whether one, and they deserve this to go through. But I know even if it doesn't, their caliber is that they will still make it happen, and they will still have this work to do. Thank you.
Okay, the second bullet about reclassing the executive secretary, so that one is, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
I think Mr. Ford,
I'm sorry.
you had something to say regarding.
I do have several things to say. If we're going to go bullet by bullet, I do want to point out one thing that that was brought up by one of our colleagues. When we were paying the outside firm, it was 4% of whatever the building project cost, which was, this salary pales in comparison to what we were paying. So we are getting a lot better bang for our buck, and we do get what we pay for. And I think this is an exceptional ad, and I think, but let me say this first. I should have said this first. I'm recusing myself from any vote when this comes up just because I have a wife that works in the system, and I don't want any misconstrue, any idea that, I'm doing this because I want to benefit economically from it. But there's several things that will be talked about in these bullet points, and I can elaborate on each one as they come up, or I can just get them all out the way now.
I would prefer, if you don't mind, for the superintendent to explain the bullet point, and then we can kind of go into the discussion. That way the audience knows, kind of a little bit more about what we're talking about.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Hardy?
Yeah, I don't have no doubt in my mind that, that this young lady can actually, perform the job. I'm kind of more like in line with Dr. Bud. I just hope that we're not putting more to bear on her that she can handle. I think my biggest concern is, like Doc said, our staff is capable. My big concern is that, along with the duties she's already have, that this may be more than what she can handle. I'm not disputing, the move. I think I applaud the move. It's just that I just don't want her whoever get bogged down in, doing these things. And like you said that you only got 4 projects now. Is a different between when you had one here, all these different projects are going on, and by it being condensed, it might make it simple because we know that we just come up off the ground.
Yes, sir.
It's not going to be a roof here or this here or that there. It's going to be pretty much the same. I think I would, hopefully if this thing do go through and it is overbearing on her, I hope that we're not trying to throw it under the rug where we can come back and fix it
Yes, sir.
if maybe you are wrong, because we all could be wrong
Yes,
at
sir.
times.
Yes, sir.
We all can come back and say, I can do this, I can do that, but in hindsight, we can be wrong. So I'm not going to really oppose it. I think if you feel that, we can do this in-house, then, I'm going to pretty much support it. But like I'm saying, that we do have project manager on staff now, and they're doing an excellent job. And of course, it's 4% compared to what you're proposing tonight. And like I said, it's always good. It's not always good to get the cheapest price. Sometimes quality comes with the price. If you go get a steak, I can go get a $30 steak, and I pay $100 for a steak. I expect the steak to be better
Yes, sir.
than $30. So I guess you're getting what you put into it. Basically, what I'm saying. So I just hope that we're making the right decision.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I'd like to say one more thing before we move on to the next bullet. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, there were a few of us on the board who were not present during that process of choosing these project managers. When we did come on the board, what I distinctly remember is us having some problems and issues with some of the project managers, and we ended up having to get rid of one. Another thing I kind of distinctly remember is that in talking with the staff members, a lot of our internal staff members were making a lot of these decisions anyway, and they were out on the job sites making sure that things were going and running smoothly anyway. I think the best person that would be able to tell us whether or not he or she can or cannot handle it would be that person that we're referring to. And I would think that person would have the ability. And I would like to remind everyone that we are just in a committee meeting tonight. This isn't a final decision. It's got to go to the board as long as it passes. And there's a lot more that can be said at that point in time, and including from the individual that we're thinking about putting into this position. So I would just like to say that. With that being said, Mr. Superintendent, if you would like to explain bullet number 2.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So bullet number 2, rationale for giving the increase to that position, which is Melissa, that's superintendent's secretary. I mean, I can't say enough of the responsibility she has, the job she does, which allows me to be a superintendent and not get caught up in things that are not of a bigger scale. It's extremely important. And I think this should have been done before me, because that's the value of a superintendent secretary. She's not a phone answering secretary or an appointment book keeper. It's far beyond anything that we might think a secretary typically does, which are valuable things, but she goes above and beyond that. And I think for the sake of the district, by allowing the superintendent, me or whoever comes next, to be free to focus on other things is invaluable. So the request and the ask is to increase to the, as it says, non-instructional professional support. That is about $5,800 less than the board secretary. It's not the same. It's $5,800 less than what our board secretary makes. I think that's reasonable, a reasonable ask. That's bullet 2.
I did. I just want to say this one thing, and I want everyone to take this for what it's worth. But every time we change a position, create a position, there's always a disclaimer that we add that these positions are established, or this is established for the position, not the person. And I believe beyond a shadow of a doubt that that's what we do, our Human Resources Department, when they're writing these job descriptions or any kind of salary increase or any new position, it's being created for the position, for the work that's required, and not for that person. So
Yes.
that needs to be made clear,
Good point.
because
Yes, sir.
that is a requirement for us, but it's also something we pride ourselves in doing. So I just wanted to make that point clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Stucker.
Yeah.
Mr. Hardy, next up.
No,
I think, in looking at the whole big picture, I think that Mr. Orgeron have been very progressive in reference with considering bus drivers, looking at teachers, looking at personnel, supervisors in the front office. And I think that what he's doing is very prudent because you done a lot of reclassifying. You done a lot of things. I think that should have been done actually a long time ago. So I don't see any problem with any of these positions that you have here. I think it's in line with everything. I think it would have been it wouldn't have been right not to look at these positions and looked at the other positions, because I think all positions are equal to equal value to the school system. So I don't see a problem with it. I think I don't look at the person like Mr. Ford said. I look at the position, and it's nothing you have done different. I can keep going on and on of people that you're giving money to, or giving raises to, should I say. So I think it's consistent, and I don't have a problem with that at all. So I think it's fair.
Thank you, Mr. Hardy. Mr. Superintendent.
Okay, I'll be quick on the next ones, but we will be losing a position in HR to retirement. Some of those duties will be absorbed by other clerks in HR, including the position control clerk. That's why I'm asking for a salary scale increase, and you see the amounts, $1,388 for that annually. Okay, so that's a different classification. The next one is a HR secretary. We initially hired somebody in the salary scale of receptionist, who's now doing clerk work more than receptionist, so including some of the retirement work. So I'm asking for about a $960 increase, which is a scale increase. And then plumbers, as you know, the plumbers were advertised at the initial or the salary schedule in the book. We got no applicants because they made far more in the field. So the ask there is to increase that to what we call leaderman 1, leaderman 2, which gives them a substantial increase. And hopefully we can get And then the bulk of this whole recommendation centers around giving a $3,000 raise to the majority of support people who are 240 employees, $3,000, and proportionalizing it out accordingly to a $12.50 a day increase. So depending on how many days you work, that's the equivalent of $12.50 raise for that group. This, for instance, 220 would make 27.50 more, 210, 26.25, so on all the way to 180, making 22.50. Now, what we're doing, we're excluding a few positions, as is listed in the book, because those positions recently got substantial raises. Hard to do, but that's kind of the rationale, including bus drivers. So we're not including bus drivers, we gave them a substantial raise just a couple of years ago. It helped us tremendously. We value our bus drivers, we value all of these employees. Matter of fact, if we give a supplemental this year, if the board so approves that, which I think we can do down the line, it's for everybody. Everybody gets those supplementals. That's not gonna be picking and choosing or anything like that. It's everybody, including bus drivers and people who are left off of this because they had some kind of raise in the past. That's the proposal, and that's the rationale behind the adds and changes. Any other questions?
Mr. President?
I applaud you, Mr. Superintendent. I think this is overdue. Without our support workers, secretaries, to every position you just talked about, what are we worth? Can we do the job? We really need these support people, and we really need to show them that we value them. And they're very, very important, and let's pay them what they're worth, which would probably be more than what we're proposing. But, they definitely deserve it, every position you talked about. I'm 100% behind you. That's just a comment. Thank you very much for that.
Dr. Kuchek?
Yes, and I echo both Mr. Voisin and Mr. Harding's comments. I think this is the right move at the right time. These people have proven themselves. And as far as Miss Melissa goes, I know whenever I contact her, it's taken care of. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to worry about what's happening. It's done. And, it is the position, but she makes that position take care of itself. So like you said, you can take care of the other issues that are going on. And I think it's an extraordinary combination. I think every single thing you brought out is excellent. I do like the idea of the buyer. I did read over that. Didn't fully understand everything involved, and I think that would take some of the repetitive weight off of the purchasing agents. I mean, because there's stuff that's, just repetitive, but then there's other stuff that, like she paid detail to the bids that were not handled properly. And like you said, that's very important when you're dealing with these big issues. And like Mr. Ford said, we're getting it for a fraction of the cost of having to pay an outside person to come in and do that job. And she's already proven herself where she's at. So I support this 100%. I think it's a great idea. And like Mr. Voisin said, probably late in getting done. So I'm glad we're doing it. Thank you.
Mr. Ford?
Just a few more things. Finally, 6 years later, because I've been shut down for this proposal 4 times over the last 6 years. I've tried to do it. But like I said before, I'm recusing myself when it comes time for the full board vote. So, because I'm confident that we're doing the right thing. The other thing I want to say is, just like everything else, you get what you pay for. So if we're paying quality, we're going to get quality. And that's setting us above the rest. It's going to be hard for these other districts around us to compete and industry to compete because we're up to scale now, or we will be. And the other thing is, this will also increase our percentage of the revenue we take in, or not revenue, but the money we use towards salaries for teachers. You know, it used to be 75%, and now it's 81, 82%, and now it's gonna be even higher. So that's another thing that's setting us above the rest. So this is long overdue. I'm pleased it's happening. Anyone that votes against it, I will be calling them out. Not just here, but out there too, for everyone to see, because it's time. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Okay, are there any other public comments?
I have one other comment that I'd like to make. Thank you.
Okay.
And again, under your leadership, I just applaud our finance department, who has handled the funds in such a way that we have the money to do this. I mean, when we look at what we're getting, you know, in terms of the lowest tax rate in the state, you know, and still the money's being managed in a way where we have the funds available to do it. And so I just think under your leadership, the whole team, you know, it's paying off. It's doing good.
Thank you, sir. And Doc, I'm glad you said, great comment, and the whole team, everybody in here, all these people, all of them, every single one. Great,
Yeah.
high-quality team, no doubt.
Mr., any further questions?
Nope, excellent, let's move forward.
Do I hear any objections to this motion, to this recommendation? Okay. There are no objections, so the motion passes 3 to 4 votes. Item number 8. Consideration of adoption of fiscal year 2024-2025 Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire Resolution. This is from Ms. Rebecca Bro, Chief Financial Officer. The committee recommends that the board approve and adopt the following resolution in reference to the attached Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Do I need to read the resolution? No. Moved by President Wazan, seconded by myself. Any public comments? Ms. Bro.
This is an annual requirement for our audit, so we're already preparing for our auditors to come in. The questionnaire is included in your packet, and it basically is us certifying that the board has followed all federal and state requirements and laws in the fiscal year that's just ended.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Bro. I appreciate that. Any further
Just make
public
sure we
comments?
get it right. And I have the confidence in you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Any other board members? Okay. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, Ms. Bro. Item number 9, matter bearing upon monthly budget to actual comparison report and monthly sales tax collections update from Ms. Klingman.
Hi, good evening. For the month of May, comparing year 2024 to 2025, we have an increase of 2.91%.
All right. Like to hear that. Are there any questions, board members, questions, public? Okay. Hearing no questions, nothing else being before the Finance Committee, the committee is adjourned. Passing it back to you, Mr.